Hey guys, Dave with First Place Auto Parts. Thank you so much for joining me in the studio today. You know, during the time period of 1988 to 1998, General Motors made a series of trucks that we affectionately call the OBS, or the older body style. Now that name's kind of funny because the square body trucks before it were definitely an older body style, but for whatever reason, OBS has stuck with this generation of trucks, and they were really good trucks. Like, these are really the first trucks that had a lot of technology involved and infused in them that made them great daily drivers. Maybe you're looking to buy one today. Maybe you're an enthusiast who wants a classic truck and wants one that's super reliable and comfortable to drive. Or maybe you're just looking for a truck and you're tired of the overpriced vehicles that are on the lots today, like $60, $70, $80, $90,000 for a new truck is out of reach for a lot of people. The OBS trucks, they offer the perfect combination of both classic styling but new age technology. It makes them great daily drivers. And in today's video, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you about the differences, the different trim levels of the OBS trucks, and then some of the packages that were available. So when you're looking for your OBS truck, you have a better understanding of what you're looking at and what you're looking for. So guys, stay tuned today. We're talking OBS truck trim levels and also packages. 1988 was a big year for GM trucks, and you might be looking for something that is either two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And just know that in '88, General Motors stuck with the C-Series being the two-wheel drive and the K-Series still being the four-wheel drive trucks. When you're looking for these vehicles, know that that first letter is going to denote whether it's a two or a four-wheel drive. The one thing that GM did do is they changed from calling them the 10, the 20, and the 30 series trucks to the 1500, a 2500, and a 3500 series trucks. You got the half ton as a 1500 to 2500 3/4 ton, and the 3500 as a big boy at 1 ton towing capacity. So there you go. You've got those things that have changed. Some of them are the same, but when you get into trim levels, this is where it really makes a difference when you buy your OBS truck. Because maybe you're just looking for something basic, but I'll be honest with you, the basic trucks, we get used to things like power windows and air conditioning. And the first trim level that GM stuck with was called the Cheyenne, and the Cheyenne really replaced the Custom Deluxe from the square body trucks the generation before, and it was very Spartan. It was almost a work truck of sorts with rubber mats and also manual roll-up windows. Pretty much everything would be an option for a Cheyenne, and depending on how a customer ordered it, you could end up with a Cheyenne that did have power windows, but they were not standard. As a matter of fact, there wasn't a lot of standard features on the Cheyenne, but it was a very capable truck. From the front of the vehicle, the Cheyenne will have only 2 square headlights, where your next 2 trim levels, the Scottsdale and also the Silverado, would have 2 sets of headlights on either side of the grille for a total of 4 headlights. And you know, the early OBS trucks, as nice as they are, you really started to get into that almost car-like feel once you got into the Scottsdale trim level. The Scottsdale trim level was the next level up from a Cheyenne, and you got a lot of creature comforts that were basically options with the Cheyenne became standard on the Scottsdale. One of the big improvements was in the seating. You could get cloth seats, and you could even order bucket seats. You also, the difference from the front end, you started to get that quad headlight front grille assembly, and it updated the looks. It was not nearly as truck-like. It started to become a little more car-like, and dare I say it, even a little more comfortable. A lot of people chose the Scottsdale because it didn't have the expense of the top tier level, which was the Silverado, but it was much more user-friendly compared to the Cheyenne. That sweet spot when you were ordering a truck back in the day from a price standpoint, but also the option standpoint, was absolutely the Scottsdale. And then finally, there's a Silverado trim level for the Chevrolet truck. Silverado, it's always been Chevrolet's flagship vehicle. It has almost all the options that you can want or have been ordered on the Scottsdale. But look, this was a truck that you could drive if you worked maybe in a business office or you were a salesman, that you could drive this truck and pull up in this truck and have people in it and be right at home in regards to this is a comfortable vehicle. It's not that far away from a car in regards to the way it feels inside. A lot more creature comfort. So in the hierarchy of things with Chevrolet trucks, it goes Cheyenne, Scottsdale, and Silverado. And those are great options. But like I said, if you're looking for a used vehicle, I would start with the Scottsdale trim level, but I'd certainly look for a Silverado. The reality is, when you look at used vehicles, especially when they're 20, 30 plus years old, the trim levels, well, it may have cost you substantial money in between those different trim levels back when you bought it. When we buy them used, time has a tendency to equalize those things. So if you can help it, if you can find a good deal on a Silverado, I suggest you get that. However, if you find a really clean Cheyenne and you're okay with maybe rolling the windows up manually or pushing the door button down manually instead of having electric locks and electric windows, Those can be nice trucks as well, but the Silverado, that's going to be the one that you're going to want if you can find one, a clean one, at a good deal. And let's not forget the GMC trucks, because there were plenty of those made as well. It seems like you don't see quite as many of them, and I'm not sure GMC actually sold as many as Chevrolet did, but GMC had their own name. What would have been the Cheyenne with the Chevrolet was called the SL in the GMC truck. The Scottsdale truck for GMC would be called the SLX, and the Silverado in a Chevrolet truck would be called the SLE with a GMC. So you get SL, SLX, and SLE for GMC for the 3 trim levels that they offered. Now, beyond the trim levels, there were packages that were offered by the GM vehicle lines, and one of the first ones that we get to is called the WT, which was offered from 1990 all the way through 1998. Now, the WT, or the work truck as we commonly call it, was a very Spartan truck itself. It was offered standard with a 4.3 liter V6 and a manual transmission. Things you also didn't get were things like AM/FM radios, air conditioning, headliners, or maybe even carpeting in the floor. A lot of times you had a rubber floor mat in the work truck. They were offering monochromatic paint. They had black plastic grills and steel wheels. These things were meant for fleet use and basically anything that would be a commercial type use. A lot of times you find them in white, but the WT truck has almost none of the creature comforts. Now, to save costs, interestingly enough, from changing over, they did include rear analog brakes, which is interesting, but the reality is the inside of a work truck or a WT package level truck is a very Spartan place. Like, it's not some place you probably want to live every day. And the next package, and this one proved to be insanely popular, and it's still with us today, was a Z71, or better known as the off-road chassis package. This thing was offered exclusively on K-Series or 4-wheel drive trucks, and what it gave you was some really cool off-road rugged stuff, factory. You get skid plates underneath the engine, the front axle, and the transfer case. You got stylized aluminum wheels, and you also got Bilstein shocks. The Z71 package, it was available on both GMC and also Chevrolet trucks. If you can find one of those things at an affordable price, make sure you snatch that one up. Another really cool package, and it was very popular back in the day, was a sports package offering from 89 to 97. Typically it was offered with a 6.5 foot fleet bed, but in 93 what General Motors did was they went to the sports side bed, which is what we would call a flare side or a step side bed in some of the older generations truck. But the sports package, it was very unique. It offered a very sporty look in that it had a lot of monochromatic paint. The bumpers and the body, actually, it would match itself. This package was offered in red, white, or black, and with the distinctive sport decal on the back of the bed. The sports package, it had a Silverado interior, which means it was a lot nicer inside, but the outside looked a lot sporty. It was starting to get in trend with the sport truck market, which was becoming popular right about that time. You can find one of these things. They could have anything from a 4.3 liter under the hood to a 5 liter. Eventually it went to a 5.7 liter, but the sports package is a good package. You get those creature comforts, like I said, all those popular options that would come with the Silverado in a sportier looking truck, and it still looks good today. And then finally, the big dog, the biggest package of them all, and it had the shortest run. It was only from 1990 to 1993, was the SS454. And this thing was really an outcropping of the sports package because it was, again, all monochromatic, all black, had the chrome wheels, but what had that the other package, the sports package, didn't, was that it had the 454 cubic inch motor that made 230 horsepower when it was first released. Like, these trucks are really more collector trucks, and you're probably not going to find a freemium deal on one of these things, but General Motors, they did offer some really neat trim packages and also some different performance packages, if you will, where they bundled things together where it made it super easy to get the truck you wanted, and you didn't have to go to the automotive aftermarket to go buy stuff. Now, if you do need to buy stuff for your truck, your OBS, your square body, please check us out at First Place Auto Parts. We're going to have a ton of restoration, but also performance parts for your vehicles and the classic American muscle cars as well, where you can find all those parts super easy to use at fpautoparts.com. Guys, until next time, keep the hammer down and keep it between the guardrails.